I wanted to just give some more help and advice on lesson planning and just talk you through the sort of the process that I go through personally when I'm preparing a session for my son. Um, so, first of all, if you go on YouTube, there's a really nice channel that's called Free School, FREE School, and they've got lots of short little videos which are about, vary from 2 minutes long to 5 minutes long on all sorts of topics. So um, go on there and search for tigers because this is what I've just done. So I'm going to create a lesson plan on tigers. So first of all, I'm going to watch that little video clip. And this is what I did yesterday. I watched it, and as I was watching it, I wrote down all of the key points because these videos are quite good because there's just lots of facts. So I wrote down all of the facts, and I've got them all on a piece of paper here, 2 sides. And actually, there ended up about 14. There was about 14 key points. Now, when I first write down the key points, I write them down on the left-hand side of the paper and I number them and I leave a nice space in between each one because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and look at each point and I'm going to see whether I want to expand on it. I'm going to identify what the key words are. I'm going to identify which words I want Chris to spell. I'm going to identify what questions I want to ask. I'm going to see whether I need to explain things a little bit more. And I might also consider whether there's any sensory activities that it would be appropriate to add in that are relevant to that key point. So I should have said I write my key points down on the left-hand side and then I keep some space on the right-hand side of my paper to add in additional notes which may be the sensory activities and maybe the expansions. I mean, my paper looks a right mess at the moment, but there you go. You can see this is what I've kind of started to do. And I think it's really important that we all have our own systems. You might use a highlighter pen to highlight your spelling words. You might use different coloured pens to remind you to do different things. You want it so that, although my paper looks a mess, I can use this and I can have this piece of paper actually. I can put it on a music stand sort of next to the table where I'm working out with Chris and I can read those notes. And not lose my place in them and not have to keep, going, oh, where was I up to? So, that's an important point as well. Okay, so let's assume, pause this video, go and have a look on YouTube, Free School, watch the information on tigers, then make your key points, make a note of them, and now you've come back again. So here we are, back again. So, key point number 1 says, tigers are the largest species of cat on Earth. So, in that sentence, I'm going to highlight a few keywords. I'm going to highlight tiger, species, and cat. And, I know that I'm going to be asking Chris to spell tiger. So somehow I'm going to colour code that on my notes as a spelling. Now, let's think about this other word. We've got species. That can be another spelling word. But equally, that's probably a word that I want to expand on. So, what is a species? What do we mean? And I can simply, I can either teach it or I can ask a question. So I could teach, I could say, well, species are things which share common characteristics. So, for example, another type of cat, because we've said it was the cat species, what do you think? So for Chris, I would ask him to name one because I know he's at that stage. Can you name me another cat that would be in the cat species? And I'll give you an example. I mean, I've already got this in my notes. I've looked them up. There's lion, leopard, jaguar, cheetah, lynx. So I might say to him, again, calling on knowledge that I know Chris may have, I might say, do you remember when we went to the zoo and we looked at the animals, or when we went to the safari park? We went through a compound, and there were lions. Well, they're also part of the cat species. They're not exactly the same as a tiger, but they share common characteristics. You might talk about domestic cats. Obviously, if you've got a cat, or your neighbours have got cats, in all likelihood most kids at some point have seen a domestic cat. But obviously you can then make the point, well, tigers are actually the largest of the cat species. They're bigger than a domestic cat. They're bigger than a lion. They're bigger than any of the others. So they're the largest. And again, you might want to just ask a reinforcing question. So what did we say? Did I say they are the largest out of the cat species, or did I say they are the smallest? Okay, so there's all sorts of options depending upon where your child is up to. What I then might think is, just for practice, we're going to spell the word cat, C-A-T. Now for my son, because I'm working on his independent pointing, because it's a nice small word, that's one where I might make a note. I'm going to get him to hold the board himself and have a go at doing cat. Because I think that he'd be able to do that and we'd be able to get some success there. All right, so you can see that's just point one. Let's have a look at point two. Point two is tigers are recognisable by their stripes. I might do that one a little bit differently. I might hold up a picture of a tiger. So that's kind of a sensory activity. So I might say, let's have a look at this picture of a tiger. Now, what's the one thing that really stands out on that picture? How would you recognise that this is a tiger? By its... So for Chris, again, I probably wouldn't even say it was stripes. I would ask him the question because I know from his existing knowledge he'd know that. For another child, I might just take their finger and say, look, and even hold it on the diagram. See all the stripes? That's how we recognise that it's a tiger, because it's covered in stripes. So what did we say? You'd recognise it because of its, and you could do choices, dots or stripes. You could do just straight to the letterboard. You'd recognise it by its stripes. And then again, making it a bit more discussive and drawing on existing knowledge, I might say, wonder if you can think of another animal that you recognise by its stripes. I can think of one that's black and white. I think we might have seen some when we went to the safari park. Can you remember? Yes or no, or can you think of one? Yes or no. And it doesn't matter if you can't. Well, actually, it began with a Z, and we see these things. We see these things on the road sometimes. There is a special place where you can cross the road. Some of the old-fashioned crossings in the UK, we used to call them zebra crossings because they were painted black and white. So the animal's name was a zebra. So you can see, I'm just adding in discussiveness, interesting information, and so far I've only got to 2 points. Okay. Point 3 was about the size. So let's talk about, we've said that the tigers are the largest species of cat. Let's talk about how big they actually are. So, guess what? Male tigers can be up to 11 feet long. 11 feet, imagine that. So that would be the length of this room, give some context to it, show the child, and they can weigh up to 660 pounds, just to give you an idea. So I went and, when I was doing my research, I Googled this, and the average domestic cat weighs between 3.5 and 4.5 kilograms. And a tiger weighs up to, if we do it in kilograms, 300 kilograms. So, it's nearly 100 times more than a domestic cat. So that kind of gives some feeling and quantity to it. So again, using the letter board or the number board, you can say, what did we say? The male tigers can grow up to how many feet? 11, and weigh, up to how much? And you can either do it straight as a question, or you can do choices. Okay, so that's point 3. Point 4 is tigers are mammals. And again, mammals is something, it's a key word that I'd be writing down. I might say, just for practice, we're going to spell mammals and spell it out. Now, what does being a mammal mean? Well, there are 4 features of mammals. So again, this is going to give us opportunity to expand again. Number 1, mammals are all warm-blooded. Ooh, what does warm-blooded mean? Well, feel our skin, sensory activity. You can take your child to, feel your arm. See, it feels warm. That's because our blood inside is warm. So, we're a type of mammal. All mammals are covered in fur or hair. So, and again, you can show even on our skin, there's very, very fine pieces of hair, which are, the equivalent to an animal's fur. All mammals feed their babies milk, and all mammals have a backbone. Again, let me feel your backbone, and you can say you can feel our backbone, our spine. For an older child, you might say it's called vertebrae. So again, you've got this expanding on what is a mammal. So you could ask, can you think of another mammal? What do you think? Would you think that a dog is a mammal? Yes or no? Any other ideas? And you just from things around you, really, you should be able to come up with quite a few. So I'm kind of waffling a little bit here, but you can see I'd be asking questions and spelling out some words. So what did we say? Tell me one thing or 2 things about mammals. Number 1, and I might give a clue. Number 1, they are warm, what? Or they have warm, blood, warm blood. And number 2, they are covered in, what did we say? And again, if he was going for the F, go for F-U-R. They're covered in warm fur, or hair. Right. Okay, so look, this is the way I'm going to go through the entire lesson. For every point, I'm going to be just exploring it. I'm going to be thinking about what can I add in, how can I make it discursive, what sensory activities can I add in, and how am I going to present it in a way that isn't just reading out the facts. So, those first 4 facts, I could have got through really quickly just by reading them out. Tigers are the largest species of cat on earth. What did I say? The tigers are the largest, species of cat on earth. They are recognisable by stripes. How do you recognise by stripes or dots? Dots. They weigh up to 660 pound, and they are up to 11 feet long. What are they? 611. They are mammals, so that means they're warm-blooded, covered in fur, feed milk, and they have a backbone. You know, what did I say? Duh, 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 duh. You know, that in itself is quite interesting, but not nearly as interesting as going in and exploring and expanding. I hope you can see that. Okay, so your task now is to go through the rest of the key points about tigers, and maybe just pop some notes in the comments underneath about ways in which you would expand on the remaining points, and I'll have a go as well, and then we'll put some notes in the comments. So then once you've finished creating your lesson, you know, you're going to end up with something that has got to be usable by you. And I don't want you to spend hours and hours and hours on it, but you know, the more experienced you get, the less you'll have to write down. The more experienced you'll get, you'll be able to really just reduce it into a good note format that you can understand and you can colour code. So let's stop there for now, because I've been waffling on for too long already, and you know, I'll add some notes into the comments later.